Take a moment to mentally land here at Man Yoga. Sit tall, shoulders back and relaxed. Breathe in peace. Breathe out stress. Let your eyelids be heavy. Good. Thank yourself for taking time to be here today at Man Yoga. This is you time. Coming here is the difficult part. Now reward yourself. Lift your arms. Lean forward at the waist slowly. Grasp your knife and roll through your shoulders back to the tall seated position. Hi, welcome back to Man Yoga. Today we are going to sharpen this beautiful Japanese knife. Look at it. Doesn't it gleam? Isn't it so peaceful? Yeah, so we are going to use the Wicked Edge Pro Pack 3. We are going to sharpen this very pretty Japanese kitchen knife. Some Japanese knives I've seen have two separate angles. They'll have one angle over here and a different angle over here. This one doesn't appear. It looks like it's the same on both sides. And I'm going to guess, that's a pretty steep angle. I'm going to guess 15, 17 degrees by looking at it. So first, we want to protect the metal. So I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to put it right here in the center. Ish. This is a tool to allow me to put the knife into the clamp where the spine of the knife is flat. So these holes, this tool goes in and the knife sits on that tool, and then I find where both of these fingers are touching the spine of the knife. And then I clamp it down. And from here on, when this knife is clamped, I don't walk away from it. I don't want a child, I don't want someone who doesn't know that this is here. I don't want an animal to come by, because this is pretty lethal right at the moment. So once I have the knife in this position, I'm done. I either take it out when I walk away or I finish it, but either way, it's coming with me. It's not going to stay in the vise. So looking at the angle, it looks like 15 degrees, so we're going to give that a try. So I move the slider bars to 15 degrees. So what I have is the machine is doing the part that I can't do. I'm not able to hold a knife on a stone and go back and forth and make a sharp knife. Can't do it. I don't have enough practice. I'm sure over time I could figure it out, but I just can't do it. The machine holds the knife and it holds this 15-degree angle. These arms move back and forth. So then what I do is I have these abrasive stones. I'll pick the most abrasive for us to look at. This is a 50 grit. So this is diamond embedded on this plastic. Well, it's on a piece of aluminum. So diamond embedded on aluminum. The aluminum is embedded in this plastic handle. There's 50 grit on one side, and then slightly less abrasive is 80 grit. The numbers go up. The grit gets finer. And with these diamonds, I can remove material, and I can, with the machine holding the angle, I can remove material in a very controlled fashion. So, now this knife is already pretty sharp, but we're going to tune it up. So I don't need a heavy abrasive. In fact, I probably just need something very light. So let's step down to, we're going to go to 1,000, and you can see the difference between 50 and 1,000. This is basically smooth to the touch. This is not. So, and the way the wicked edge works, I slide the stones over, and they slide up and down and back and forth, and then I move the stones along the blade in this fashion. And what I want to establish is a burr. So I'm removing metal, I'm bringing the knife up to a point all the way down the spine. And what I'm going to, once I have the angles together at an apex, then I'm going to push from one side all the way down the knife. And I'm going to pull, or actually push, metal over, and it's going to hook on the other side, and that's a burr. And I'll be able to feel, once I've pushed the metal from here over to the other side, I can run my finger over and I can detect a burr. If you don't have a burr on both sides, the knife isn't going to be sharp. You can make it pretty, you can make it polished, but it isn't going to be sharp until it comes to this point, and then you can confirm that point by pushing this metal over and feeling for the burr. So, 15 degrees. Let's see if I'm right. Yep. So I can see my marks all the way down. So it is 15 degrees. Let me check this side. Yep. All right. So because the knife is sharp, I don't have to do a ton of work. So I'm going to try to use this 1,000 and push the material over to the other side. Now I'm not pushing the stone this direction. I'm letting the diamonds cut with almost no pressure. So this is going to be a very fine burr, if there is one at all. And if you don't have the most sensitive hands, what you can do is take a piece of cotton ball, Q-tip, and you can run that over the edge. And if you are losing fibers from the cotton ball, if there's a bunch of furry cotton hanging off one side of the knife, then you have a burr. This is a pretty fine burr, and sure enough, there it is, all the way down. So now I'm going to take the burr that's over here, and I'm going to grind it off, and then I'm going to push another burr this direction. So when I have a burr both directions, all the way down the knife, then I can proceed to refining. Yep. There it is. All right, so that was 1,000. So I'm going to go to 1,500. And all I'm doing from this point is overlapping strokes to remove the tooling marks, the diamond marks, from my previous passes. So I'm not worried about the apex. The machine is going to hold my angle. So now I just hand over hand, and I'm just refining. And then once I see that I have removed the marks from the previous stones, then I can move on to an even finer grit and then remove the marks from this 1,500. So it's just a system of once you get it sharp, you're just refining and refining and refining. You do not have to make a mirrored polished edge on every knife. In fact, some knives like having a coarser edge that is very, it's kind of micro-serrated. So if you were to look at this knife under a microscope, you would see that the finer that you could get the magnification, you would notice that these metal fibers, while they look polished to us, they're actually, they're really small metal teeth sticking up under a microscope. So when we polish and we're stropping with leather, we're refining, we're polishing, we're making these teeth that we can't see smaller and smaller and smaller. And so scalpels, very smooth. If you, of course, if you have a bread knife, then there's a scallop in there that's very obvious. But a kitchen knife, if you have one that's super polished, sometimes they're a little difficult to use because then the knife kind of collides over top of what you're cutting. Sometimes, but once it gets a bite, then you can just push straight through, and it's very pleasant. So just if you are sharpening a utility knife, you might want to stop at 100 grit. If you're sharpening, a scalpel, then of course, or a shaving razor, you want to go pretty much as fine as you can go. So I can see that I have removed all of the marks from the 1,000. Now I only have the marks from the 1,500 grit. So I'm going to flip, and this is a 6 micron. So it is a piece of glass with a sticker on it. And that sticker is basically a piece of clear sandpaper. So this is going to remove the marks from the 1,500. And this works pretty quickly. So, and then the final step that I'm going to take today is I have kangaroo leather that has been embedded with, that has 4 micron diamond paste embedded in it. So there are 4 micron little crystals just hanging out in this leather, which adds to its abrasiveness. So this is just going to polish and really, really it's hanging over. It's not doing anything, it's just squeaking. Alright. Now the polishing, the stropping that we're doing now it's a process. So you can sit here for hours and strop, or you can strop over the course of many sessions, and you just bring further and further refinement to the edge. And then once you're satisfied with your 4 micron work, then in this particular set with the Pro Pack 3, we have 2 micron. So you can take it even finer. And this is, the 2 micron is really good for, again, shaving razors. So, well, that is really, really, really sharp. All right, so let's see what we have. That looks really good. Now, I'm not sure how well you can make that out, but that edge just gleams. So, Wicked Edge Pro Pack 3. Beautiful Japanese kitchen knife. Namaste and whatnot. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.